Each participant will treat each other participant with respect and courtesy. The moderator will not allow personal attacks or inappropriate language. Anyone wishing to address the meeting will use the microphone here in the middle. All speakers will begin by stating their name. All other speakers will be considered out of order. I will allow non-voters to speak. However, please identify yourself as a non-voter. While allowed to speak, you are forbidden from voting. The initial presentation on articles will be limited to 10 minutes. All speakers in debate will be limited to 3 minutes, including a warning at 1 minute remaining. Time to be determined by the moderator. All new speakers who wish to speak on a given article will be given the chance to do so before a person is given the second opportunity on the same issue. Each article needs a motion and a second in order to discuss it. Only one amendment to a motion will be allowed on the floor at any one time. No amendment to an amendment will be allowed. Such proposals will be dealt with as subsequent amendments after the first one has been voted upon. All amendments will be submitted to the moderator in writing. The subject of the original article must be addressed in the amendment, and it cannot be a negative amendment. The moderator can be overruled by a majority of the meeting, and state statutes do govern legal procedures not listed here. I have results from the election earlier today. The total number of voters was 119. For moderator, Robert Wetherill, 116, electing Robert Wetherill. Thank you. For school board members, Mandy Avery, 103, Jay Duguay, 106, Paul Sherdewan, 18, Z, 1, electing both Mandy and Jay. And that brings us to Article 3. To hear all the reports of agents, auditors, committees, or officers chosen and pass any vote relating thereto.
Make a motion to accept all reports as written.
The motion from Tammy Ham to accept all reports is written and seconded by Jay Duguay. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. And we'll accept those as written in the annual report. Article 4, to see if the district will set the salaries of the school board at $1,000, the vice chairperson at $1,250, the chairperson at $1,500, the moderator at $200 per meeting, the school district clerk at $250 per meeting, the ballot clerks at $160 per meeting, supervisors of the checklist at $180 per meeting, and the school district treasurer at $4,500 per year. The money for this article is included in Article 5.
So
Moved by Tamara Ham. Second by Jay Duguay. Any questions or comments? Those in favor of Article 4 as written signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Article 4 passes unanimously. Article 5, to see if the district will vote to raise and appropriate the school board's recommended amount of $9,335,991 for the support of schools, for the salaries of school district officials, employees, and agents, and for the payment of statutory obligations of the district, and to authorize the application against said appropriation, such sums as estimated to be received from state aid together with other income. The school board to certify to the selectmen of each of the towns of Lincoln and Woodstock respectively, the balance to be raised by taxes by the towns of Lincoln and Woodstock in accordance with the formula adopted by the Lincoln-Woodstock Cooperative School District. And the school board further to certify to the selectmen of each towns of Lincoln and Woodstock the amount to be raised by taxation by each of the said 2 towns. This article does not include appropriations contained in special or individual articles addressed separately.
So moved.
Moved by Tamara Ham. Second. And second by Jay Duguay. Any questions or comments? And I'll recognize Jay Duguay.
Thank you folks for coming out tonight. As usual, the article here that encompasses the school district budget. The process for this begins or sort of late in the previous year. The board meets with administration. The administration has already met with stakeholders in the school staff and fielded the requests for funds from them. They put together the budget, they bring it to us. We go through that. We look at each line. We ask questions. We take funds out where we take funds to be taken out. We add it in where we think they need to be added in. This year, we were able to realize savings in some areas, although we did see significant increases in other areas, including the cost of some of our health insurance benefits. I think that went up by approximately 8% this year. We saw, most of the increase that we're looking at this year is in the form of salaries and benefits. That includes the second year of teacher contract, and those increases in the benefits. We did remove approximately $65,000 out of the proposed budget and use some of the monies that we had in trust funds to cover the one-time purchases, including like lockers, I believe was one of them, and some technology equipment, some equipment for the broadcast program. And so trying to be creative using the money that we have available to us while not trying to increase the budget too much. So what that ended up looking like, as you can probably see in some of the reports that Deb made for you, is a very informative pamphlet there. Is approximately 1.6% increase in the overall operating budget, which we think, given the climate out there with inflation, is a very modest increase. And so we hope you join us in supporting the budget, and in so supporting our school and our school district and the students of it. Thank you. Oh, yeah, sorry, one other thing, and last year, we had a big ask for you folks in supporting the heating system replacement here in the middle high school. That has worked out phenomenally. That system is up and running. According to Mark, you're seeing approximately 50% less fuel usage this year than we did last year. Some of that, I think, is we had a pretty warm winter, but nonetheless, we're seeing significant savings there. We've been able to reduce that line item in the budget considerably. And so that's another, we were able to see a considerable benefit from that project. And, it's just providing nicer air, cleaner air, healthier air for the school. We have a couple of projects, a couple of little pieces of that project that are going to be wrapping up this spring. We had some delays in equipment, but that had worked out phenomenally.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll vote on Article 5 as written. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Article 5 passes unanimously. Article 6, to see if the district will vote to approve the cost items included in the collective bargaining agreement reached between the Lincoln-Woodstock Cooperative School Board and the Lin-Wood Support Staff Association, NEA, in Hampshire, which calls for the following increase in salaries and benefits paid in the prior fiscal year. Fiscal year estimated increase for 2024-2025, $141,456. 2025-2026, $38,303. And further, to raise and appropriate the sum of $141,456 for the 2024-2025 fiscal year, such sum representing the additional costs attributed to the increase in salaries and benefits over those that would be paid at current staffing levels.
So moved.
Moved by Tamara Ham.
Second.
Second by Jay Duguay, and I'll recognize Jasmine.
So he just listed the impact, but we like to kind of go over some highlights of that. First, this was the third time we've had this contract, thank you, ladies. The support staff collective bargaining agreement. As always, it was a great experience. Everybody is very collaborative, very positive. Tammy sat on that committee with me. Just some highlights. The bargaining agreement represents the paraprofessionals and school-based administrative assistants, so approximately 15 positions. It's a 2-year agreement, which it has been since we started. The increase in starting rates is one of the pieces that we wanted to highlight. And we wanted to bring people up to par. We recognize that the cost of living has increased while folks have been locked into previous agreements. So the paraprofessionals went from $13.50 an hour to $17.50 an hour for year one. Administrative assistants $15.50 to $19.50 year one, and $1 increase for the second year. We added an insurance buyout for $2,000 a year for anyone who has proof of non-school health insurance plans. We also added an additional holiday for year-round employees, Juneteenth. And we removed the waiting period for holidays for school year employees. So it used to be you received 4 at the beginning, and then after 5 years, you received another 4. I think those were the highlights. The tax rate is for Lincoln 0.07 per thousand, and for Woodstock 0.17 per thousand.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll vote on Article 6 as written. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. And Article 6 passes unanimously.
Make a motion to table Article 7.
The motion to table Article 7. Second. And second by Jay Duguay. That motion was made by Tamara Ham. Article 7 is in case Article 6 was defeated, which it was not. That's why we'd be tabling it. Those in favor of tabling Article 7 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. And we'll table Article 7. Moving on to Article 8. To see if the district will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $60,000 to be added to the Special Education Capital Reserve Fund created in 1998, amended in 2021. This sum represents the amount estimated to be received from the state education aid from the prior year expenditures.
So moved.
Moved by Tamara Ham.
Second.
Second by Jay Duguay. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll vote on Article 8 as written. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Article 8 passes unanimously. Article 9, to see if the district will vote to raise and appropriate 60% up to the amount of $60,000 to be placed in the school facility expendable trust fund created in 1999, with the said funds to come from the June 30, 2024 unassigned fund balance available for transfer on July 1st, 2024.
So moved.
Moved by Tamara Ham.
Second.
Second by Jay Duguay. Any questions or comments? We'll vote on Article 9 as written. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Article 9 passes unanimously. Article 10, to see if the district will vote to raise and appropriate 30% up to the amount of $30,000 to be placed in the school technology expendable trust fund created in 1999, with said funds to come from the June 30, 2024 unassigned fund balance available for transfer on July 1st, 2024.
So moved.
Moved by Tamara Ham.
Second.
Second by Jay Duguay. Any questions or comments? We'll vote on Article 10 as written. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. And Article 10 passes unanimously. Article 11, to see if the district will vote to raise and appropriate 10% up to the amount of $10,000 to be placed in the school equipment expendable trust fund created in 1999, with the said funds to come from the June 30, 2024 unassigned fund balance available for transfer on July 1st, 2024.
So moved.
Moved by Tamara Ham.
Second.
Second by Jay Duguay. Any questions or comments? We'll vote on Article 11 as written. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. And Article 11 passes unanimously. Article 12 is to transact any other business that may legally come before the said meeting. Yes,
How many students do we have in here now in this class?
the question is, how many students are there in K through 12? 250.
Are in that class?
Currently in kindergarten?
Yes.
How many do we currently have in kindergarten? 34. There's 17 for them. Oh, 18. Okay, 18 total.
18 total in this year's kindergarten class.
Correct.
With the downturn in the amount of kids that come in, are we still, and I brought this up last, are we thinking about what we're doing down the road if our enrollment keeps dropping the way it is?
Robert, could you recognize that?
Yes.
So I think the question is, what is the board and the administration doing looking forward if, if the enrollment continues to decline? And we certainly, is something that we talk about on a fairly regular basis. We're hopeful that the towns of Lincoln-Woodstock are making meaningful progress and making housing a little bit more affordable and available, but I know that that's very difficult. So we are taking steps and planning for, at least in the short term, a continued downward trend in enrollment. And that's what we're seeing statewide. It's not just Lincoln-Woodstock schools. We're seeing that sort of statewide. Some of the things that we're doing, we've been reducing staff. That usually occurs when somebody retires or a position goes unfilled. We've been working with other staff members to try to fill in where they can and without having to hire for positions that wouldn't necessarily end up being full-time. Other things that we've been looking at, and this is more into the middle and high school, is sort of encouraging staff to get multiple certifications to be able to teach just more than one subject, because the teachers in those grade levels need to have the appropriate certifications to be able to teach. And so we're encouraging, the teachers to become multiple certified. There has been some minimal discussion, but we're looking at, continuing discussions and how to incentivize staff to do that, so that we're trying to be creative with ways that we can utilize the staff that we have, to, address the needs of the district, and in the, the most, economical way possible. You can only cut so much because the law requires us to offer certain courses and to have certified instructors for those courses. But we're working on ways to try to meet those requirements without, meet those requirements with the staff that we have and utilizing sort of more creative strategies to do so. It is difficult, but it is on the radar, and it is a discussion that the board is having with the administration. And it will be a continued discussion in the upcoming superintendent search as well. I think that's certainly going to be a priority of the upcoming superintendent search, so.
Next question coming from Helen Jones. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? And I recognize Jay Dugan.
So before we adjourn, I'd like to take an opportunity real quickly to recognize two individuals that are leaving. Ashley Youngheim, she's been a member of the school board with us. This is her last meeting. She chose to not run again. We would just like to thank her for her time and her effort and Ashley's an educator herself, and so she brought a level of expertise to the board. I think it was valued and appreciated. So thank you, Ashley. Also, Dr. Judy McGann, as many of you probably are aware, Dr. McGann has announced her retirement. That is after 13 years as the superintendent here in Lin-Wood, but more than, I think, 50 years or close to 50 years in education as a teacher, as an administrator, and as a superintendent. And so Judy has touched countless lives in her career, both in other districts, but in our district in the last 13 years. We certainly appreciate the hard work that she's put in on behalf of our students, on behalf of our district, and our staff, and our towns. She brought us through a lot of some pretty difficult times in 2020, 2021, through COVID and all. And so it hasn't been easy at times, but she's done it expertly, and we appreciate the work that she's put in on behalf of that. Take a minute to recognize her.
If you were elected or re-elected tonight, please come down and see Sharon afterwards so you can be sworn in. Is there anything else that can become before the meeting?
Motion to dissolve the meeting.
Motion to dissolve the meeting. Dissolve is a clear word that the topics discussed tonight are off the topic and we're not going to reconsider them. Those in favor of dissolving our meeting signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? And our meeting has been dissolved. The time is 7:19.